Hello, hello, hello. It's so funny that word hello is hell. Hello. Hello. It's weird. I'm not sure of the etymology of that word. Whereas in America, it's more hi, it's hi, hi, up here, hi, hello. I must find that out. Where hello came from. Hello as a greeting. But anyway, hello. Hi. So I'm aware that the stream isn't usually today at this time. I did mention I was going to change it after the school return. So yes. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what it's going to change to yet still, but I thought I'd stream this morning. So I may still stream Thursday as well. So yeah, I shall try and remember to keep you informed of what's happening. But yeah, I'm just trying to follow the flow a bit easier and follow the flow a bit more and make things easier and more congruent. Is that the word? Congruent with my lifestyle or something, like more in line with my lifestyle, so it's easier and more flowing. Anyway, so yes, welcome to the stream. I have a title which was really hard to think of. Nothing was coming. Non-duality is, I think it ended up being non-duality is. Yeah, the most obvious title, but hey ho. I may change it if it feels right to change it later, but that might be enough to spark off speaking about it. So welcome. It kind of works out quite well having this here. It just ended up being here, but yeah, look, it's like a flower, the guru flower, butterfly. How funny. But how beautiful as well. So how to talk about the most beautiful subject? How to even attempt to speak about it? The most beautifulest subject. The most beautifulest thing to speak about. Something that is. Something that is. The only thing that is. The only thing that is. It's not hidden. It's not in scarcity, in lack, not enough. It's not limited. It's the only thing that is. All of existence is that. Everything that appears is that. So there can be a pointing to that. There can be that description of that. And then what tends to, in a way, have to happen is then to talk about the experience or the dream of being separate and how that feels as if it has been lost or can't be known or seen, and what it feels like to be that someone, to be someone who can't find, who's looking for. And so then descriptions of that are spoken to describe what it's like to be a separate person, to be in that illusion, that illusory experience of being separate, of being someone independent. And that description of that seems to highlight it and offer clarity, like you're shining a light on it. And so there's clarity from that in describing this, describing the experience of being attached or identified to a person. Then it shines the light on it. So there is a usefulness in describing that, in pointing out that illusion. And then the story of what can happen often through inquiry, spiritual inquiry, like going to retreats, going to hear speakers, meditation, various therapies, various practices, Kundalini stuff, and all these different things that are available. All these different things seem to happen. All these books are read and understanding seems to happen, and glimpses of this seem to shine through. And so that is also a part of this, to describe that awakening, to describe that seeming story which seems logical, like in a logical order, sequence, and we describe it like that because we have to describe it like that. When we're speaking, we tend to have to describe things like that in time. So yeah, this is the beauty of life, really. Of waking up, of this happening, of this interest, this attraction to this subject, this attraction to freedom, this attraction to waking up. this looking for answers, looking for peace, happiness, freedom. There seems to be this journey of awakening, this journey of you could say this journey of ignorance, and then this journey of waking up to that ignorance, to that illusion. Yeah. So what is it? What is it? This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. This uncovering of that veil, that covering, that blanket, that illusion, that mirage of you, of this identification with being a human, or being a character, or being a person. This identification, this owning of that, and this living through that, this living through this idea of being someone. So we have this idea of being someone, and that seems to be a part of being human, like the human evolution, the human conditioning, the human growth has grown to have language and have this ability to like I and that over there, and it's this evolution that's happened where we're able to communicate like that and have this seeming personal language of I and you, this separate language. And it's really wonderful that happened, that there's an ability to do that. It makes functioning so much easier, to be able to say I and chair and bed and home and food and hungry. It makes it really easier to have language to communicate. So that's like part of the conditioning of the human, is to develop, the brain develops in that way, and it learns these how to articulate and how to identify it in a way and say me, I. Like my mum was saying, when I was younger, I wouldn't always say I would say her or something, or so yeah, it's important to be able to speak and communicate. But then to actually like, what happens is that's then actually taken to be who you are. That's taken to be who you are. There seems to be this embodying of that. So it's not just a thing you learn and take on. it becomes embodied, this sense of I am that person, and I am independent, and I am responsible, and I am vulnerable. And so what awakening is doing is it's questioning that, first of all, upfrontly questioning that and saying, is that true? That isn't true. And then it's picking, unraveling that embodiment, unraveling that identification with that. That's what I would describe to be awakening, this unraveling of the identification with the human, or identification, full stop. That doesn't mean, in a way, just to elaborate on that, it doesn't mean there isn't identification at all. Like, there is, because that was needed, that is needed to be able to function. There needs to be identification with this form. So it isn't about that not being there. It's about that isn't your home. And when you do feel like you are that person, it feels as if you've lost home. You've lost home, and in a way you have, because you feel you are this separate person, this small thing moving into time. And so it does feel like you've lost home. And so this is simply, and I say simply very lightly, simply about remembering your home, remembering what you are. Like that Lion King Simba, remember who you are. It really is embedded in all our culture, this remembering who you are. Like, it's embedded everywhere, really. We know on some deep level that the way it's portrayed, the way it's the perception of reality that we're shown in the media, through our culture, our society, we know this isn't right, it's not true. There's something else beyond this that's beautiful and magical. Like I was saying the other day about not knowing what love was, but actually that's not true, because there was this knowing of what love was. There was this knowing. I was watching this Michael Jackson thing the other day, and just hearing the music, and I've been learning the dance routine to Thriller. It's really cool. And I remember that there was this love, that hearing him, and it's opened this love. And what the mind tends to then do is think, oh, it's that person, or it's the music, or it's this, or it's that. But it just helped to like open that love. So there is a knowing of this, but we just misplace it onto a thing. Like when I used to listen to like non-duality speakers, I fell in love. I really fell in love. But like it wasn't it, and the mind says, oh, it's them, I love them, I'm in love with them. And in a way I do feel like I did love them as well. but like their character and stuff, but and there was gratitude there and stuff, but like it wasn't true in that this love is what this is. This is love, and it's not anyone's. It's not a thing to be had or to own. It's what we are. It's what this is. It's love. But when that person identification is there, it feels like, oh, I am something, I am something, and therefore it gives that feeling of lack, of missing, of being separate from the whole, separate from love. And so the seeking is there to try and remedy that, or find a solution to that, and find love. But it can only look for it in things, in experience, in pleasure, in high, in happiness. And so this is like unpicking, unraveling this dream illusion. Not to give you anything, not to, so you can arrive at some better place. It's unraveling something that seems to be covering, unraveling this seeming limitation, this seeming boundary of you, this dream of someone separate being here, which was never actually true. It just felt that way. It just seemed that way. And you can argue, I know some people, some radical people say, oh, there's no one there, so there's nothing to unravel. And you can go into that and argue that. And that logically makes sense. Of course, there's no one there to unravel, to undo, or to collapse. But if you put logic and learning and mental understanding to one side, which obviously you can't do, but like this isn't in that. This is totally not logical. Just totally not logical. It doesn't fit into logic. You can have like a logical sequence of speaking it, but it's not true. It's not true. And that's the most amazing thing about this subject, is that it's not true. That's the most amazing thing about it, is that it's not true. And that's mind-blowing to the intellect that thinks this is about mind and intellect and everything else is about that, but this isn't. So it's mind-blowing, but this isn't true. Non-duality implodes, and it's not true. And yet it's spoken. It's spoken. But it has to be imploded and exploded, because to hold on to that as being truth is just another dream, another attachment. This is not true. And to be caught up in arguing about it, it really misses the point. It's not true. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah, so maybe that's enough talking. This is that's kind of the whole message wrapped up. This is this is this is yummy, yummy, yummy. So I'll just leave a few minutes to for anyone to ask any questions or anything. Mm-hmm. Hello. Okay, how should one relate to deer? How should one relate? Oh, to fear. To deer? Okay. How should one relate to fear when it arises? Fear of public speaking, for example, or falling off a cliff. How should one relate to fear when it arises? I'm not sure I can tell you how to relate to it. Yeah, I can't really do that, but I can maybe speak a bit about it. Let's see what comes. It's like a strong movement, fear. It sets off different chemical reactions and adrenaline, and body's muscles react and all these different things. It's very powerful. It's based upon survival, so it's very powerful. It has to be powerful to make the animal act. So yeah, it's very powerful. And I feel like we have less need to be fearful as we aren't at risk in the way we were, before we had, secure houses and etc. etc. We were hunting and all that. So a lot of the fear we have is that potential, the potential of this happening or that happening. But it can still set off that same chain of physiological reaction, even through mental imagining of something happening. So I'm not sure how to help you relate to it. But I think knowing it's there is helpful. So if it's there, rather than ignoring or repressing or pretending it isn't, acknowledging or feeling it's there could be the first step. That could be enough, just acknowledging of it. That could be enough. Admitting that there is that fear. Like that may reduce it or make it not be there, or it may not. It may still be there. But my question more is, why should it not be there? If it's crippling fear, where it's really affecting your ability to function, then yeah, maybe you need to look into it more and try to release it more, understand it more, what's triggering it and why, and what you're afraid of. And it's really great to understand that deeply, to go into that deeply. I'm afraid of this moment. I'm afraid of the death, dying, which is the same as saying I'm afraid of this moment, because this moment is death. This moment is the end of you. So yeah, to understand that, like what you're afraid of, can be very helpful. But then fear can still arise, and just being okay with it can be very helpful too. Like maybe from understanding it and acknowledging it, you can become more okay with it. So it doesn't need to not be there anymore, because you're fully comfortable with it. You're allowing it that space to be, like you're allowing it to be expressed and to be here. You're not saying bad fear, bad energy, bad emotion, this shouldn't be here. You're totally friending it and falling in love with it even. So it's a part of you. It's a part of you, rather than coming to destroy you. But yeah, I don't really know how to suggest or recommend how you should relate to it. That's a good question. Why should it not be there? The resistance to fear can be an obstacle to freedom. So fear is liberated by fear, not by ego. It will. Yeah. Yeah, it can be a resistant, an obstacle to freedom. But it also, yeah. You could see it that way. But I can't help but saying that there is no obstacle to freedom. Like, there is freedom. Like, you can't obscure freedom. Freedom is obstacle, no obstacle. But in the seeming story of awakening, you could say that, yeah, it's an obstacle to freedom. But that's another idea. That's not another obstacle. That's just another idea as well, though. Like, it's and there is no obstacle to freedom. But it's a useful thing to, like, it's a useful concept or idea. It's a useful pointer or story or explanation. So yeah. But I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not saying that if there is that chronic fear that you don't deal with it. You don't go, oh well, it's there. It's you don't use that to like repress it. Like you could use it as another concept just to avoid it as well. Oh, fear's allowed. Fear's just here. It's okay. It's allowed. It's another way of you resisting it or being separate from it. Like, this is like a total eating of you, so the fear has to eat you. Like, you trying to stay protected, saying, "Oh, fear's okay. Fear's allowed here." It's a way of you like staying separate from it again. Like, it just sounds better. I'm allowing fear. I'm accepting fear, and it is better in some way, but it's still a dream. It's still not true. It's still your story. It's a really fun thing to talk about. It really is. Like, it's impossible to you can't get it correct in language, in concepts, ideas, but yet we use these to try and communicate. It's so funny. So you have to use them, and then you have to destroy them. Which can be annoying, I suppose, and frustrating. Trying to understand, and then the speaker blows it apart and says, "No, not true." So beautiful, though. So beautiful. There's nothing better than a teacher giving you an idea and then destroying it. That is so beautiful. It does take time, seemingly, to like get used to that and begin to enjoy that. Having your ideas blown apart is like so beautiful. So beautiful. I just like, yeah. I just just thoughts about teachers that I've spent time with, and just having that destroyed. It really is like a love affair. It really is. So of course, in a way, you fall in love with your teacher because they're showing you what love is. They're showing you what love is. They're showing you what you are, and it's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I just can't. Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying? Awakening is not for the weak hearted or something. Walk of the warrior. Yeah. Thank you for your question. Quabena? Quabena. That's familiar. I've heard of you before, I think, somewhere. I've seen your name somewhere. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, yeah. I've written their links on my website, so you can go and see their own website and see what they talk about. But, yeah. Okay, so thank you for for everything. Okay, lots of love, and I shall be here probably Thursday. If not, then I shall let you know. But yeah, okay, bye.